Bert, I wanted to, we held an extensive discussion about Jerry Jones earlier this week, and looking at Jerry, he's not the same guy. My point was, when you used to look at Jerry, and you covered the Cowboys for a while, there was a presence there. Now he just looks like an old man with sunken eyes that has crossed that imaginary line into madness. How do you see him at this point?
Yeah, I think there's there's an unpredictability to him that I think's always existed. That's probably gotten a little worse, where you maybe don't know what you're getting on a day-to-day basis. And I think for the most part, like as crazy as he's been, one thing I will say is like people who work there generally like working there. Like if you go back and you look over the years, the people who've left there continue to have good relationships with him and the team. And
are they paid well, Bert? Like not just the coaches, but like, it's a huge staff on these teams. Everybody in the front office and, the marketing people, are they well compensated?
I would say, I don't think it's like top of the league. What I would say is people that are treated really well. Mm-hmm. I would say that the teams that really take care of their employees, I'd probably put Philly in that category, probably Baltimore in that category. I don't know that Dallas would be way up there with those teams. But so they're maybe a little more middle of the pack in the way they pay. But I do think they treat their employees really well. And again, like people who work there generally like going to work there. So for as crazy as Jerry is and can be, generally it's been a place where people want to go work. It's a place that players gravitate to. Over the years, that's become a destination for players. And, a huge part of that, of course, is the allure of playing on that stage and for that team. And, everything that comes with it. The Yankees of pro football, you know what I mean? But they are treated pretty well there. Again, I don't think the pay is I don't think you look at it and say yes, they're way up there at the top of the league in the way they pay people now.
Why is the league going to rethink putting them on national television so much? I mean, I understand that,
but you look at the ratings, Fred. Look at the ratings. It's undeniable. I think I said this to you guys. It was interesting. I remember when I was debating whether or not to take the job and get in Dallas. There's a guy down there named Rick Gosselin who, was a really good, really great mentor of mine and legendary sports writer down there. And we were talking about the decision on, covering the Patriots versus covering the Cowboys. And he said to me, he goes, "Well, let me ask you this: if the Patriots are 11-5, are they relevant in Boston?" "Yes." "Yep." And he goes, "If the Patriots are 5-11, are they relevant in Boston?" I'm like, "Yeah, but probably a lot less so." Remember, this is 2007. I'm like, "Yeah, but probably a lot less. So they probably fall way down the list." And then he says to me, "Okay." He goes, "In Dallas and across the country, if the Cowboys are 11-5, they're super relevant." He goes, "If they're 5-11, they're probably more relevant than they were when they were 11-5. And it's crazy, but that's sort of the way it is with them. They have what all these other owners want. All these other owners that have won Super Bowls and everything else, they want to have that brand that is just impervious to winning and losing and is relevant no matter what. And the Cowboys are almost more relevant when they're bad than when they're good. Right now, they're a very relevant topic. Turn on the talk shows. You know what I mean? They're still talking about the Cowboys. There's no other team like that. There might not be another team like that in pro sports. So, I understand what you're saying, and I understand fans who get frustrated by continuing to see them on national television. But the reality is, if you don't want to see it, turn it off. People aren't turning it off.
No,
people continue to find the Cowboys compelling.
Yeah. The networks, the networks would put another team on if they thought another team was going to draw numbers, regardless of their record.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is the Patriots have found out in a very real way over the last couple of years. Their brand is not close to Dallas's brand. Mm-hmm. They were a very successful team for 20 years, but their brand isn't what Dallas's was. And there are other brands that I think in the NFL are relevant, almost, even when they're bad, they're relevant. The Steelers, the Packers. But yeah. I just think Dallas is on a different level than the other ones.
All right. Well, it's a shame because it's pretty boring. I got to be honest with you. I have turned
You know
it
that,
off.
but you don't like the drama of it. Like a lot of people do. You know?
I like that
But you don't get the
during
drama
the week.
in the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
But
like
you're
it
still
during the
talking
week.
about Jerry. We're sitting here on a talk show in Boston talking about Jerry.
We
Jones.
just said that. I like that Jerry Jones is this way, and it looks like he's getting older. And from a great distance, it looks like he's losing his fastball a little bit. And sure, that's entertaining. But that doesn't make 3 hours on a Sunday go by.
There's always, though, Fred, there's always been this crazy, like a Fox element to it, though. Like, part of it is he knows what he's doing.
I don't, but does he? Did he know what he was doing going on the local radio show and saying he's going to get those?
Oh, that one,
fired?
yes.
Okay,
I mean, like he wouldn't apologize to the guy on the air like the next week. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think, yeah, he does. Like, he knows when he's weighing whether to say something, or I think there is a part of it that it's like the way he views it. I think the best way to put it, the way he views it, and it's a really interesting way to look at it, because so many, I give him credit for this, because so many of these guys take themselves so seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry views all of this as a big soap opera, and himself as a character in it. You know what I mean? Like, I think he like really views it as like there's football, and the football part of it's important, but we're also an entertainment product.
Right.
And that entertainment product is this big soap opera for guys. And I am a character in this soap opera.
Ken Patera.
And so, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
wrestling. He like off the field, it's like wrestling. The danger of what Jerry Jones does, and look, he's got a lot of, material success in life. The danger with in terms of the game is that, look, this isn't going to happen anytime soon, but if it just teams become just a plaything for some guy, and you're just paying the guy to play with something, do you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't feel like it's ingrained in the community, and there is, like, it's not just on the whims, even though every team might be ultimately on the whims of a guy, it's not as fun if it's just like some, like in Carolina, like some dick like going around just doing stupid crap.
But it's also not like Jerry. It's also not like the Cowboys. Like, say what you will about like Jerry, the GM, and the roster's not as good this year. But like over the last 15 years, 20 years, since I would say going back to like when Parcells was the coach, right? How many years have there been where you said, yeah, the talent on the team is the problem?
Yeah, I know. I've always said he's drafts well. Yeah, all of that. It's just that they don't win.
They have a personnel guy there named Will McClay, who is as respected as anybody in football, who's turned down opportunities to go pursue GM jobs because he likes it there and because he doesn't need the credit. And he could very easily be someone's GM. Like, if the Patriots were seeking a new GM, I would put the guy in Dallas at the very top of the list.
Right.
Like, Will McClay would be right up there with
interesting.
A few other guys. And like, I do think, like, I look at it and it's like, okay, like, we can complain about Jerry, the GM. The reality is, like, they've had good players. Now, if we're talking about like what this does to the people when they're there, like, he's put good people there. Now, what it does to the good people when they're there, and whether or not that's the difference between being a playoff team and being able to win Super Bowls, like, now I think we've got a really very real argument where Jerry does have a negative effect on what happens from a football standpoint at times.
Well, by the way, that Will McClay job is the best job in football. You're in Dallas, Jerry Jones takes all the heat, and you get to be a GM, and that's the first time I've ever heard that name in my life.
And he is like, and honestly, like, if I were the Patriots, if I were any team this offseason, I mean, there are a handful of names that would be on that list. A guy in Kansas City, Mike Borgonzi, a guy in Tampa, John Spytek. I'm just telling, like, Will McClay would be right at the top of that list.
That's very interesting. And Hardy, this is not even a question for Bert because we have to break, but I'm thinking of it. Bert, just say yes or no. It seems like Ben Johnson does not have a desire to leave the Lions, is the word coming out of people. Is that true, Bert?
I don't think he's in any rush to leave. I think just the perception I've gotten. Now, he's made some changes behind the scenes too, which indicate to me like his search for a head coaching job is going to be very targeted from here on out. And like, he's going to be assessing each situation. And I think, like, he said this in his press conference the other day, It's the same way I've heard it. Like he mentioned, like I really love play calling. I want to be a play caller as a head coach if I'm going to be a head coach somewhere. I think it sort of speaks to like how, like he's looking for something very specific if he's going to leave to go become a head coach.
He makes a lot of money, and he's just waiting. He's like only
And
Woody
he's got
Johnson.
security. I mean, like as far as coordinators go, who's more secure than Ben Johnson right now?
And it's got to be fun for everyone to love you so much because they don't know. I mean, he could go somewhere and tank, and then it's over. Like just soak the love in. And by the way, I mean Woody Johnson. He's just like, when's that Jets opening happening? That's what Ben Johnson's looking for. He's like, there's only one team in the NFL.
There's only one owner you want to work for, right?
That's run so well, and it's got to be that team. I want to practice on Long Island.
Well, Bert,
we might have had a big development as far as Jets ownership goes on Tuesday there with the election, right? Like,
well, does he want to do that again? Because Woody Johnson, we're getting so in the weeds, but Woody Johnson was the dignitary for Ireland.
No. It was the UK, and that's Ambassador Johnson.
Ambassador Johnson to you.
Yeah, so his brother ran the team while he was gone, and everyone likes his brother more than him.
His brother's actually a really nice guy who's I would say a little less all over the place than what he is.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Yeah. That's good to know that the team is owned by a trust fund idiot.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.